So Justine Pissar is a very, very interesting situation when it comes to the Indiana Fever because it's very clear as a player that she is a super high upside pick, a super duper high upside player. However, I think what we heard today greatly increases the chance of, her dipping. And I just want, or not dipping, like being signed by another team and making a full WNBA roster and getting to live her dream as a WNBA player. I just don't know if that team's going to be the Fever. I think she will spend, she is tied down for the Indiana Fever for another 3 days. In 3 days' time, a team can offer her a full contract. And I don't think people understand that there are teams in the WNBA that have wide open roster spots. So it all comes down to, if you look at the Phoenix Mercury, basically, they didn't use a draft pick this year. And they need minimum rookie contracts. So they signed all the UDFAs. They signed Dugan, they signed Garzone, they signed Shea Chesky, they signed Cara Dunn. They signed basically all the players that were undrafted free agents. Who will make this team from the Phoenix Mercury? It will be Kalia Copper, Natasha Mack, Monique Comcany is 3, 4 Kat Westbell. I think Prechtel will make it 5. Bonner 6, Alyssa Thomas 7, Whitcomb 8, probably Kiara Linskins 9, and probably Kiana Williams 10. And wherever, did I count Alyssa Thomas? If it's Alyssa Thomas, 11. Screw it. And I think none of the others will make the team. Because let's be real, Yarden Garzone is of the same, and people are like, oh, all these teams passed on Pissar twice. The Mercury didn't. Not only that, you've seen already in preseason. You've seen already in preseason that she can shoot the ball and that there's potential for defense. And that's one of those things where it's like, some people come in and stink it up and they're a high draft pick. Like if there was a redraft of this current draft, she probably doesn't go first round, but she goes early second round. Like I think she looked much better than Marta Suarez looked. But this right here, for me, does not sound like everyone's being like, oh, she's happy with the Fever. Like nobody's going to sign her. First of all, I think someone's going to sign her. Someone's going to offer her a full contract because you don't have to cut anybody. You don't have to cut anyone that's not on a training camp. That's not on a training camp contract. But this is from Indie Star TV. So let's take a listen right here to what Justine Pissar says about being on a development contract.
Does it help having that developmental contract in place? Does that kind of, alleviate a little bit of the pressure on you as you try and find your way with things?
Honestly, not as much as you probably think. My goal is still to make a 12-player roster. But again, I'm super thankful that I'm even considered to be on that contract. But again, the main goal is to be able to come to the 12 spot.
And I just want to replay this.
But again, I'm super 12.
The pressure on you as you try
let's re-listen to this.
Find your way with things?
Honestly, not as much as you probably think. My goal is still to make a 12.
It sounds like she says make a 12-player roster. She didn't say the 12-player roster. She said a 12-player roster. And we got to be completely honest. That is what every single player on a developmental contract's goal is. Play so well in preseason that even if your team doesn't pick you up, that another team takes you. And that is the unfortunate reality of the situation. Is that is the goal for developmental players. And it's likely the reason they pulled her. Because if we're being real, she played the least minutes. Every other player that came on in that third string unit played the rest of the game. They pulled her and went with 4 5'9" players. They did not want her out on the floor because everyone knows, the Fever know, if she hit 2 more threes, they have to do one of 2 things. Call her up immediately or cut somebody. And I don't know whether or not the Fever are going to let her walk or they're going to cut somebody to keep her. That's something that we only know with the Fever. However, everybody knows it's been made very clear that the Indiana Fever have gone into things knowing who their 12-player roster is, knowing who they want to bring, and with the intention of bringing 12 specific players. That does not include does not include Justine Pissar as their as their squad. And Justine Pissar just there made it clear she wants to make a 12-player roster. There is a very good possibility that 12-player roster is not the Indiana Fever. I think fans need to realize that. And again, you're looking through the comments, do not mess this up. She has size and talent. She's already signed developmental. She's protected as she can be at this point. She's protected for 5 days. Say for 3 more days. 3 more days she's protected. In 3 days, somebody can call her up. I'm glad they have her on protection. They barely have her on protection. And that's one thing people don't realize. The developmental contract just means another team can't sign you to a developmental contract. That's all it means. And you have the right of first refusal. And if you're going to put someone on a developmental contract, you probably don't want them on the roster. Because if you want them on the roster, you'll put them on the roster. It's going to be a very difficult decision for the Indiana Fever to make. Because they're not going to get rid of Michaela Timpson. They're not going to get rid of Michaela Timpson. That's not happening. It becomes a question. What do they believe that Shatori Walker-Kimbrough is going to bring to the team? Because Dantas is on a protected deal, they cannot cut Dantas. Maisha Hines-Allen's on a protected deal, they cannot cut Maisha Hines-Allen. And they wouldn't do either of those anyway. It comes down to, do they want the veteran Maisha Hines-Allen, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, Maisha Hines-Allen's there. Do they want Shatori Walker-Kimbrough as a veteran player for 1 year on a minimum? Or do they think long-term with Justine Pissar for 4 years? And based on what we have seen from the Indiana Fever, with this offseason, my prediction is that they more than likely choose to keep Justine Pissar over Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. If it comes down to that, and it probably will. It probably will. Based on their decision and the fact that she showed that she can just survive out there, I think that the likelihood of Justine Pissar being on the roster is relatively high. But don't get it twisted. The Indiana Fever don't want to have to make that decision. The Indiana Fever want to hide Justine Pissar and then next year bring her into the team. It's very obvious that that's what they want to do. The problem is, to do that, the Indiana Fever have to basically have her on the sidelines as a practice player and hope that between Friday and September, not one team tries to sign her. And by the way, the Portland Fire have infinite cap space. If somebody goes down for the season, all they want to do as an organization is swing for upside. There are a significant amount of teams that if someone gets injured, will say, if they're not looking to win, the Mystics. And by the way, the Mystics could push for her. If I'm the Mystics, this makes a lot of sense. Because this team, nobody on the Mystics can shoot. Genuinely. They're going to be your fun tanking team. They have a team that doesn't fit, makes no sense on paper, but is a whole bunch of talent. They'll lose a bunch of games in style. Like the Mystics are going to lose. The Mystics are going to be tanking in style. The Portland Fire are shamelessly tanking. The Seattle Storm as well have a bit of cap space. They have a bit of cap space flexibility due to the Katie Lou contract. And they might say, you know what? We're going to sign her. If we have to cut her, we have to cut her at some stage. But we'll sign her. The Fever won't match. And when Katie Lou comes back, we'll cut her. See if she clears waivers, and we'll bring her back in a developmental contract with the promise that she'll come in next year for Katie Lou. Like, there are 1,000 situations where the Fever have to make that decision. And the question is, what do the Fever do? Because it's clear that she wants to make a 12-player roster. She is not happy being a developmental player. And I don't mean it like she's going to be a locker room cancer or she's pissed or anything. But I mean like she wants more. She wants to make a team. And the Indiana Fever, as an organization, through their media, have as good as said the Indiana Fever is a closed shop. That she is not making the 12. Their 12 is picked. It's a closed shop. That is what her goal is. And based on her performances, her size, what she looks like, her measurables, as in like you don't know anyone's real height until you go out and see it in person. She's fucking huge. Somebody is going to force the Fever's hand and see how much the Indiana Fever want to keep her. My prediction is they do, but it's not a guarantee. And we got to stop talking about it like she's this development player that's going to be there next year. Because the odds of her remaining the entire season on a developmental contract are slim to none. Whether that's for the Fever or elsewhere, she is going to be she's almost certainly going to be playing on a full contract. And we have to realize that. It's just whether or not we think the Fever make a long-term decision over a short-term decision. I think they do. I actually think they do. Because they pulled her out of that game because they were trying to hide her. It was as simple as that. They pulled her out of that game because if they didn't pull her out of the game and she went and hit 2 more threes on the second that the exclusive rights or the exclusive rights of the Fever to her ended on Friday, a team would sign her to get her in the preseason game. A team would sign her to a full 1 year guarantee or 1 year deal, as I don't think it's guaranteed either. That second round rookie deal, the rookie scale contract. I think a team would sign her to a rookie scale deal based off that. And I think it still happens because any team worth a damn, there are smart teams that are like, shit, look what the Fever have just done. They don't want anyone seeing any more of her. They don't want anyone getting more tape on her. And some people are looking at it in a positive way that they've seen enough, they're going to bring her onto the team. But we heard from today, people are like, oh, is there, good to be on a developmental deal? And she's basically said, no, I want more than that. So yeah, anyway, see you guys.